Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn about the hardware of the Raspberry. The Raspberry I'm using today is the Raspberry Pi 3 model BV12, manufactured in 2015. Right. So first, you can see that this Raspberry is very full-featured overall, with the first being the Broadcom CPU. This CPU has a relatively powerful configuration to handle related tasks. In addition, we'll learn a bit about peripheral communication. As you can see, the Raspberry I'm holding here has 4 USB ports, which means you can connect to 4 peripheral devices. You plug a USB in here, for example, a mouse or a keyboard. You plug it in here to communicate and control it. Next to the USB ports, you'll see an Ethernet port. This Ethernet port allows you to connect to the network, so you can access the internet for this Raspberry, or you can access this Raspberry from a computer via this network port. In addition, this Raspberry is also designed to connect to Wi-Fi, so you can use this network port or connect via Wi-Fi to communicate with the internet. Right, so those are the communication ports. In addition, I'll talk about the ports for connecting to a monitor, the display ports. Here I have an HDMI port. As you can see, this is the HDMI port for interfacing with a monitor. So when you're setting it up, you'll plug this HDMI port into a monitor so we can monitor and perform the installation. In addition, we also have this display port, which you can connect to. Next to the HDMI port, you can see this is the power supply port. This is the 5V power port. So here, you'll supply a 5V power source here to make the Pi work. And when you supply power, be careful to choose a power source with a relatively high current so that the Pi can operate normally. If you choose a power source with a low current, for example, the Pi will report that the voltage is insufficient. Make sure to choose power sources that have a high current. Right. Next up, we have this camera port. Here you will connect the Raspberry's camera module to interface with it, for example, to process images. Right. Next to the camera port, we have an audio port. Here you can plug in headphones or related audio devices into this port. Those are the communication ports. In addition, we have a row of pins like this. These are the GPIO communication pins. For example, if you're reading sensor values or controlling GPIO-related devices, you can use these GPIO pins. So, on these GPIO pins, there will be power pins, and there are also control pins. So, you should check its manual to know which ones are the control pins. So here, this is the back side. We've just gone over the features on the front, the communication ports on the front of the Raspberry, and now we'll look at the ports on the back. On the back here, we have a slot for a memory card. You can pull it out. So, you'll install an OS in here. You'll install the relevant OS onto this memory card, and once the installation is done, you plug the memory card in here. This allows the Pi to operate. Alright, so those are the basic hardware communication ports of the Raspberry Pi. So in today's lesson, I've summarized for you the information related to the hardware, such as communication ports, components, power supply ports, and the memory card for related installations. Alright, so from the next lessons onwards, we will go deeper into the projects where we can use this Raspberry Pi. Alright, I'll end today's lesson here. Thanks for watching.